welcome everyone who's joining us today. This is our first weekend session. Actually, usually it is on a weeknight, and this is a very special time for us to meet Ebrar. Okay, so welcome everyone to AAL MICS. So this is a recurring interactive showcase that spotlights breakthrough work from founders and innovators in AI and adjacent creative fields. Each session is designed to foster exposure, meaningful connections, and knowledge sharing, driving both the individual growth and collective advancements in the APAC and beyond innovation ecosystem. So we have Ebrar today, and Ebrar is a Turkish architect and designer based in Vienna, currently working as a design architect and AI lab expert at DMAA. She leads the integration of AI-informed methodologies into architectural workflows, merging computational intelligence with innovative design strategies. So Ebrar holds a Master of Architecture degree from Studio Greg Lynn, where her diploma project Text to Architecture explored the use of generative AI in architectural design. And as the founder of AI-Architecture Studio, Ebrar collaborates with international clients to deliver AI-driven project-specific design solutions. She has taught at IAAC Barcelona as a teaching assistant in the AI in Architecture Studio and has gained professional experience across Austria, Germany, Netherlands, Turkey. And I believe there's actually so much more we can talk about, Ebra. I think I'm gonna leave some for her to talk about. So,
Thank you so
okay,
for the nice introduction. Yeah.
of course, thank you. I've been really looking forward to our session, and finally we have each other now. So, Ebra, do tell me, where are you at right now at this moment, and how has your week been? Tell us a bit.
Right now I'm in Vienna. For the past 6 years I've been living here. I moved here from Turkey. And after, as you mentioned, my studies in Angewandte, I started working full time in DMAA and at the same time I'm doing my own freelance projects. And my week has been very busy because as you can imagine, it's very difficult to try to do many things at the same time, but surviving. How was your?
Mine is also good, thank you. I bet you are really acing everything because this is, I know, a very important time for us in our industry right now with AI. I think that you've been very active in doing AI since your days with Greg Lynn and also your thesis. And I think the infrastructure and the structure around this AI services in architecture in our industry is formalizing, like it's becoming more and more structured, and you've been early in the game. You know, your role as an AI lab expert, this job title didn't exist in the past. And can you tell us a bit more about that? You've created a job title for yourself, it looks like.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because when I experiment with AI tools during Greg Lynn, and because during the whole study it was all about this new tools integrating into architecture and create this solution somehow how we can implement these new tools into architecture, how we can create informed design solutions. And then I was early on hearing about these AI tools and I wanted to make my diploma projects about it. But I was very shy doing that. I was saying that I'm doing AI, and because even the professors and everybody were like, yeah, very suspicious or they were a bit at a distance. But even though from the school close surrounding, there was some questions, but this attracted from international people. Like I was contacted by US, I was contacted by different countries to learn more about it. So then it positioned me in a very different position. While I was a student, a master student, I was able to have some clients and generate some conversation with them. And I actually just started DMAA as just a normal architect. My day was like as any other architect. We were just sketching, 3D modeling, whatever. But then I slowly introduced these AI tools and I try to show like what we can do in a faster way. And I was lucky enough in the office that they gave me enough space to do this. And now I became this AI lab expert and I'm able to share my knowledge with the employees. We organize this monthly workshop. So then I update everybody what are the latest tools. It was quite interesting, I have to say, this whole journey.
I think it's very valuable. And if you document your monthly workshops and document for each month has come new, then in years later afterwards, this is very valuable documentation, I think. So
Yeah,
that's,
definitely.
yeah, I'm glad also that people around you are recognizing the importance of that.
Yes, like my whole Instagram actually started as a documentation because it was, I
Mm,
also say that it was a journal because these tools,
mm,
I noticed I was generating a lot of pictures and I wanted to share that. And later now I'm scrolling back and you can see how tools have
mm,
developed. You will see very crazy pictures. I'm trying to communicate with AI tools
mm,
and it is not able to understand yet, but it is really
mm.
nice to see, as you said, this transformation, how tools has progressed and how we are able to communicate our ideas better with the AI tools now.
Right. The progressive evolution of the AI tools, right? And how it
Definitely.
impacts the creations. So the clients that you mentioned globally, what are they expecting? And has their expectations changed across time?
Definitely. Like I can say about a timeline, for example. Like if before AI tools, maybe expected timeline for it to deliver a project could be few months. But now I'm receiving requests that is only supposed to be done in 2, 3 weeks and or like even less and 2, 3 weeks, including the final delivery, draft revisions and all of that. So it is mostly about time. And of course, they expect more iterations. Like they want you to explore different ideas rather than just doing one option because they know this is possible if they are following the news or they are a bit into it. And it's mostly about the time, I would say, that their
Mm,
expectations has changed a lot.
I see. So they expect more in a shorter period of time.
Definitely.
Understood. So I see that in this current situation, what AI can do, and of course, I'm very much looking forward to your presentation in a couple of minutes. I think to boil it down, AI really helps productivity. And in the eyes of the clients, they feel that it is more cost and time efficient. So there is one part of that. And then another part, it is still about authorship and authenticity in terms of who is making it and the kind of design that's coming out is still this essence. So there are the two parts. One is, it's faster and more efficient than before. And the other part is that there's this designer now being branded as an AI designer, and we both know a few well-known ones other than yourself globally. What do you think about, and please do feel free to comment on my reflection, whether or
Mhm.
not you think that's a fair comment, or do you have something to add to that? And where do you think it's going actually with this progression?
Yes, I like it is getting more blurry who is the
Mm,
owner of the design. But when I first started, like when these tools were progressing and then they were
mm,
launched, I'm like, okay, us architects, these tools are here to stay and we need to
mhm,
integrate it into our own workflows. We need to know about them and how we can optimize our workflows with these tools
mm,
because otherwise engineers are gonna do things for us that they don't know anything about architecture. So us architects needs to lead this.
mm,
So and
mm,
my whole thesis was like, okay, I will not let this also my argument even with my professors back then, I'm like, I'm not letting this tool design for me. I'm using this tool
mm,
as my assistant. I'm the creator. I have the idea and the direction.
mm,
These tools are just optimizing my workflow. It's just
mhm,
making me design things faster. I generate ideas. It's just my time has shifted. So now I have more time to generate more unique ideas than just spending time 3D modeling, designing, doing all like 3D modeling
mm.
most of the time, for example.
Yep.
So this was my whole argument. And
Mhm,
I always try to stand in a position that I use these tools as a supporter, like it's my
mhm.
assistant in a way. But as
Yep.
you said, you are totally right. Of course you are I'm seeing a lot in Instagram. You take reference images and then
Yep.
you just change a little bit, you just change the context and suddenly
Yeah.
become yours. And it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it is really not, I don't know, it's not right thing to do, but it is
Yeah.
happening. But who is gonna say something. I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
blurry right now. It's everything is getting blurred.
I hear you. I hear you. And maybe a quick thing from me, quick comment from me, feedback on that before we go into your wonderful presentation is that I think from clients' perspective, they want both. They want a designer. They look now, I can see more demand of clients looking for designers who give good design using AI, not just AI design. AI design, yes, they can ask for AI design if they just want something quick and dirty. Just if just AI design, but if they want AI design with class, AI design with style, AI design with a brain behind it, they need to look for AI designers and not just AI producers, AI content producers, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like I
definitely.
see that there is a difference. And a lot of people merge the two together. They think, oh, AI work, okay, all kinds of AI work is the quick and dirty kind. It's not. It's not. And I think
Yeah,
we
people
we are
see it
aligned
as
that.
a slot machine sometimes, like you're
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever it's coming. But I think us
Mm,
designers, we shouldn't forget about our research skills, like our
mm,
intention. Like when we get a brief about a site or a client needs, like we should still use our brain, like and dive into this.
mm.
Sorry.
No, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. So I think this is a great segue to go into your presentation. So when you feel free, do please share your screen.
Okay. Second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so today I kind of divided my presentation into three different things. First, I want to just shortly talk about my collaborations and how I'm using AI both independently and also with the company I'm working with, and also workflows that are behind it. And also at the end, I want to show two applied projects in completely different scales to open up a discussion. One is the interior design, the other one is a city, a vertical city. So over the past years, I had the opportunity to collaborate with several international firms across architecture, technology, and design. Working with these teams, different countries, disciplines exposed me to many different design processes and scales. And through these experiences, before AI also, I developed my own design pipeline. And with AI, this later evolved and emerged into something more advanced. And today, now my workflow integrates generative systems, spatial modeling, analytical workflows, and I will talk about more in detail. So I try to kind of categorize the tools I'm using, and it's from image generation to scripting, from style training to motion. I try to use it in all aspects, and now AI is able to help us. It's in a level that is able to respond our requests more precisely. And so these are like the six categories I want to focus on today, and like I categorize some of my workflows. I don't see these tools as like a single tool, but more like a system. So it's a supporting an entire architecture workflow. For example, from the concept development, concept exploration, we are getting briefs and then we are turning that into a atmospheric spatial concept. For this, I'm using Midjourney most of the time. It is helping me to generate a lot of ideas in early stage. And then I see these tools as a sketching tool. Of course, I still sketch in physical, but now these tools are allowing me to explore directions. And then later it can be detailed. Like, of course, it is different moods, different atmospheres. It is translating ideas into very strong, powerful imagery. And when you have a certain direction for certain references, this you can later apply your references into your idea. It can be more precise. And these are some of the examples that I was testing. And after you have a direction, of course, you are generating with these tools, this is the benefit of it, a lot of iterations. So then you are becoming like a curator of your iterations. And then you have to dive in and pick what is really communicating your ideas the best. So here, like it's a screenshot of from my mid journey. Like after I have a certain idea, it is a bit. I find it sometimes unhealthy that I want more because I really like what is coming, and I'm like, okay, give me more. But it's sometimes hard to say, difficult to say a stop to yourself. But it is very now benefits of it and fun of it as well. We are able to communicate even with just changing one simple words. We are able to communicate ideas very quickly. And this is like kind of what workflows looks like. And of course, it's getting more and more optimized. So you have an image input, and then you have a prompt, negative prompt, what you don't want in your image. And of course, you have a lot of selections, editing, upscaling. So this is mostly applied into all the final visuals. And of course, when you want to communicate it, and it is getting more and more precise from day to night, you can change materials and everything. It is really making us involved in how we want to communicate and what we want to communicate. So I'm also using it from direct my 3D workflow, not just visuals, but from 3D to rendering, or also some animations, or with physical models. Like I try to explore all the existing tools that we had as architects before AI, and I try to combine how AI can enhance these workflows that we already had. And the other part is style system and visual consistency, of course. And when I get a commission or when I work in the office, of course, there is a certain style that I need to meet. And these are really helpful with LoRa training and also mood boards that I'm using it a lot. It's helping instead of spending and wasting time with just text. I'm able to train AI in a more customized way and reach the results in a very faster way. And this is an example of, for example, I wanted to generate a glass facade and I'm able to train just with images. And then later I can focus on the atmospheres or the location or what I want my image to communicate rather than just wasting time on just trying to get the facade right. So these are it's possible with visual data set. Or again, with some spatial atmospheric images, it's the same. For each project, I try to generate these mood boards because so I spend time with research and then later generate these mood boards, then it's helping me to final outcome. And the spatial translation, this is still a big gap. And this is a video animation from my diploma thesis, actually. So here, back then, the AI tools weren't so developed 3 years ago. And then I was using depth map to create a point cloud. And later, this point cloud was into Rhino, and then I was modeling it. But now it is even more easier. We have different plugins for that. Of course, also not just spatial translation, not only in 3D, but we can also integrate into Rhino and Grasshopper and other way around as well. Like we can turn our images into 3D or for our 3D models into diagrams and drawings as well. Like here's some workflow screenshot that I was getting quite a very abstract image into 3D, or it's possible also with the textures. And sometimes I stress test these tools in a way that how the tools are understanding spatial concept of a 2D image. And for example, in this one, I was like, can it understand if I give a size and a positioning on a 2D space? Okay, I want in a golden ratio rule on the right. And then it was really able to do it precisely. So it's also possible not just in 3D spatial editing, but also 3D understanding of a 3D in a 2D image. These tools are able to do that as well. Or positioning a product, for example. In this one, I have a product image, but then I'm able to curate all the spaces around it and the mood and atmosphere. All these spatial translations are now possible, and it can be very precise. And this is getting more and more excited and fun. And I'm trying to use this function a lot, computational design and automation. We are using it with scripting. Like we are using AI tools mostly with scripting and so it is integrated in even with, for example, some colleagues that are not so into AI, they are using this feature. Like even if they are against imagery, they are realizing that, of course, these tools are helping to write the scripts faster, and you can also automate your repeating task. So you have a faster results. Like I'm using custom GPTs a lot. I am tracking down my repeating task that I have it always, and then I generate custom GPTs for each of this. So this is, for example, an example. I was testing a Grasshopper script, and then now with the cloud, I'm able to also, before putting it into my Grasshopper even, it is able to visualize how its script's working. I think it's super interesting now what these tools are. This is just like a 2-minute study. And with the more parameters, with the more requests, we are able to get more precise results and integrate into our existing workflow. So AI doesn't necessarily just need to visual image generation, but it can also be integrated into your existing workflows. And this is actually what my everyday looks like. I use ComfyUI a lot, and it's for testing, it's for comparing video, upscale, all of it. I have this prompt templates, image generations, reference images, and then I test different, because right now there are so many different tools, and then I want to be able to test which responds better, because it develops quite fast. So I use these platforms to test and then check what's going on. But this is performing quite well. And this is an example of some of my custom GPT, for example. Whenever I'm uploading an image, maybe I need a data set of all the materials that are used with certain color codes, material listings. So this is every time I'm uploading an image, instead of describing it every time, it just gives me all the list, even writes me a prompt for Midjourney. So all these different automized tasks, I'm using it a lot. Also, sometimes for architectural copywriter, when I need a quick text just from a visual, I have also custom GPTs for that, or just GPTs for image generation. So I'm uploading an image and it asks me, do you want an axonometric from this image? Do you want a section, floor plan, which style? So all of these are automized and optimized across the workflows that I'm using. So this is also very recent, I think recent implementation and quite strong analysis and documentation. So we have the 3D models. We are now able to make AI tools analyze our drawings and also upload for example, the rules that we need to achieve, some requirements that needs to be responded. So now all of this is possible. And so for example, in this one, this was just an abstract image. And then I took a diagram out of it. And then I'm able to communicate the ideas even more, the spatial ideas, without having a 3D. But not just only diagrams, it can also provide precise, at least starting drawings. So then you can develop it further, and then it just gives you quite strong results. This was a recent actually test. It was quite interesting. My cousin was asking if anything is wrong in there. So she was sending me these floor plans and the sections. So I'm like, okay, it was a huge file and I wasn't sure like how to read it process. So I was like just testing it. So I uploaded into cloud and it was giving me a report of what was wrong. And it was very interesting because it was tracing back to the rules of like Turkish construction and then how and it was flagging everything. And how later we checked that with my friend who is more expert on this. It was quite correct, all the analysis. So we can now really employ, for example, when we receive a drawing from a client and then when you are in a rush, so you can make AI tools work for you on the side. And so they are doing all the analysis and flagging for you. So this is all possible. So, okay. So I want to show two applications that my latest projects. So this one was interior design company from the UK. And here I had two different briefs. One of them was a living room and a dining room. The other one was more abstract spa design. So kind of it started with a brief. The client had a certain specific furniture that needed to be visualized, and then we had some spatial arrangement, how we want to play. So this was also an interesting experiment for me, like in terms of testing the limits of the tool. So this is like how our workflow looks like. And then we had like many iterations. But nice thing is we were able to get all the furnitures in the right position with the correct layout. So then later, so there is no deformation in the original product that can be referenced to. It was really a nice experiment for me. And also this one was for a dining room. Like only thing I had was just some pictures of a product and just very rough layouts. But again, now with these tools and with the workflows I have, I'm able to translate all this information without even touching a 3D. This was a really nice challenge for me. The other one was like a spa. This one, like the previous one, I had a brief of a text and an image. But in this one, it was just a text. So it was more free for me. But we had the sensory spa brief. I had to respond to different immersive sensories like earth, fire, water, ether. Here is an example of an air room, and like she wanted some in each room, she wanted to reflect different feeling. And in this one, it was about floating, and then again, like at night, different conditions, or fire, it was like a sauna, but with healthy drinks. So all of this is very precise, and you can really, to the point, respond to it. And in this one, again, it started with an idea, image, and then you're able to get even more close-up atmospheric videos, and you can really go into the space and make people feel how it feels like to be there. Or in this one, again, it was ether and all these reflections and Zen room and someone walking, so you can really feel how it's like to be there. So another scale is, this is a recent study we are running in DMAA. It's about a vertical city. How could future cities look like with the current advancement in technology, and the current advancement in AI? So we were looking at the tendencies of public open space, for example, like we had how we are using it till now, and then how it can be used in the future. So we were looking at nature-based solution, but our most idea was we are going in height, and public open space is also rising. It's going to be in many different levels. And also with the technology, we have responding like high performance materials, modular buildings, like optimization. But with the now AI involvement, we will have an AI-driven urban life, like how we can use all of these technologies for our benefits to create new cities. So what we are developing in the office is like a digital model. So it is bringing all different aspects of design in together. It's, for example, it is becoming like a communication tool between our consultants and the analysis we are creating. For example, these are all the results we are getting from our consultants, that these are feeding the digital model we have. And then later we have more detailed and more spatial analysis. How is the thermal comfort? How is the acoustic? All of that, all of this information are being fed into this model. So whenever we want to change something into 3D, all this analysis, since it's AI driven, all this analysis are responding back to this. So it is kind of optimization of the design process for us. This is what we are working on currently. And it's a bit heavy. Yeah, again, some examples that what we were testing, like we were testing mobility strategy, program distribution, all of this system, all of this data taken from the consultants are fed into this model. And then later when we have a different design option or a changes, it is responding, and it is improving optimizing the design. For example, again, on this one, it was about performance, indoor quality. All of this, we are trying to run all the simulations with AI, with Grasshopper and with other tools. And so other than all these technical aspects of a city, we also have how is it to be there? Like how is the health and social well-being? So this is like an experiment we were doing with cloud. We were coding all this city livability aspects, and then how the 3D can respond to that. So all these sliders are responding into the 3D reflected there. So we can compare different layouts, different workflows, different organization of this vertical city. Here's an rough example of a population square meter, all these different areas, and you can see the elevated public realm that we are imagining. And of course, after we have the 3D and after we have all this data, this is a more technical part. And of course, then later we are transferring this 3D into more atmospheric images. And these are all, there was a 3D Rhino model, really detailed Rhino model. And then later I visualize them into whatever we want to communicate in this vertical city. So we have all these different districts. Instead of a horizontal, now it's in vertical in different parts of the building. Again, we were visualizing different neighborhoods, different atmospheres. And also after we had this prototype, we were also imagining how it could be, how they could look like in different part of the world, because of all these populations and urban challenges, we have the new mega cities are shifting because of all of this. So we were imagining how they could look like. For example, this was for Lagos, Nigeria. Because of the water level rise, we had some 3D typology, and then later we were visualizing our idea. Or in Bogota, Colombia, it was because of the high altitude, we were imagining how vertical cities could be in high altitude. Also in Paris, France, it was about a heritage-sensitive low-rise megastructure, like how we could keep all the existing beautiful buildings but still rise above. So yeah, I hope I was on time, not so late, but this was.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bravo. I hope you feel very proud about all the work that you've done. It's so super interesting. It's such a treat to be able to see this, and I really mean it. Thank you so much. It
Thank you.
that was really wonderful. So I've written down notes and I've written down some questions that I'd love to discuss with you for the next 15 minutes. First of all, I would like to ask, maybe we start from the last part that you just showed. For the
Mhm.
urban design model, is it an algorithm that you've built in Grasshopper? Is it a rule-based algorithm, actually?
Yes, it is a rule-based algorithm, and it's also like AI agent system kind of collection
Okay,
of different tools. But it's still work in progress, so we are trying to optimize it, but this is the goal we are trying to achieve.
got it.
But it is really refreshing to work on a more technical side with
Yeah,
more scripting people, for example,
right.
because I was mostly focused on the visualizations and 3D
Mm,
transformation communication. But now I am also seeing the aspects of how we can fed the data and optimize our
mm.
designs.
I see. So the AI agent is one of the nodes in Grasshopper, or is it an MCP directly linked to Rhino?
It is, I mean, it is more complex than that. It's not really on
Okay,
Rhino. It is like
I see.
different tools, and then it's a
Mm.
separate standalone thing
Okay, of
we are
course.
running, yeah,
No
with
problem. I'm
APIs.
just very curious about that. Yeah, and I really like the visuals that you showed just now. There's a cinematic quality to it. Have you ever thought of tinkering with film even for yourself?
No, but I would love to. Like, I have an interest in photography and movies and all of that. And I try to just communicate rather than just, I don't know, blend images. I just try to always have this cinematic feeling.
It really does have
It's
that. Like the lighting is
Thank
very
you.
on point. Yeah, it really
Thank
does. And for the interior design project that you just showed us just now, you had the brief and then the layout and then the iteration. Can I ask, when you received the brief, which contains both the text and reference images, and in the second case only the
you.
text, and you have a layout, maybe in the layout you have like a small workshop with a client to decide what goes where, and then the next step to go into AI, do you turn all of that into description? Do you turn all of that into natural language and then also to input the reference in there? Or what is that transition? How does that translation look like?
So it is mostly defining what is what. So I take the
Mm,
visual reference and
mm,
then later I define, okay, this, let's say in Conf UI, this is image
mm,
one, it represents this couch. This is image two, it
mm,
represents the wall reference. This is image three, represents. So all of this data are fed into, let's say, Nano Banana. And then I also have a
mm,
prompt. And in this prompt, I'm referencing, so this is my base image. So
mm,
you need to take image one, put
mm,
it into a position based on a drawing in image five, let's say. So
mm,
all of
mm.
this. So it is a quite complex prompting, but it is now
Right.
responding well. It is all about defining, kind of formalizing for AI tools to understand. Whatever
Understood.
it's in the brief or whatever it is in the screen, I need to formalize it.
And that's a very personal methodology, isn't it?
To be honest, you can tell me better because you've been talking with different. But it's for me,
I,
this is how I optimize it in my head. Like this is how it works well for my use cases.
I do think it seems unique to you, the way you're doing it. I think, of course, Conf UI is not a unique tool to you, but the way you're using it, I think it is. And I do think that most of the methodologies that designers like to take on now with AI are actually more personal than people think. And, the other way also would be to superimpose references onto a blank canvas and then run it as an image to image kind of thing, just so that the AI, will have the base image reference and then style image reference. And then that would be like the more traditional way to do it. But what I'm hearing from you is that your own way to do it as well, perhaps after
Yeah,
months of testing.
To be honest, for each use case,
Yeah.
I kind of develop variations of a workflow because
Mm,
whatever workflow I, let's say, worked with one client, it is not
yeah.
really working for the other one. So it needs to be open to work, whatever workflow I'm
Right.
messaging, it needs to have a freedom to
Yeah.
expand, evolve, and change. So that's the, I don't know, fun part of these tools. Like
Yeah.
my working day might look completely different than a
Yeah.
year later and now,
Yeah.
whatever I'm spending time with, because
Yeah.
I'm
But
trying to
also,
optimize
sorry.
prompting and the templates and just to save me more time. So this is what I'm working on right now to just because I'm mostly my workflows are all in Config.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to have use cases for each scenario that I am facing. So I'm generating my own library kind of.
Amazing. And about Comfy, most people now they are looking at subscribed tools, like the ones that are kind of off the shelf. They subscribe monthly or yearly. But I understand that those tools they have their limitations, even though they are very good with templates, so it may be good for beginners. Can you give us an insight in terms of what is it like to use Comfy UI versus those off-the-shelf tools?
So, like most of these tools are selling it because of the interface. So,
Yeah,
because they are
exactly.
making it easy for people to understand. And because Config in the beginning looks quite scary. But I like it because I don't have to pay monthly. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
turning into a Config advertisement. But it
Mm-hmm.
is like you have it's credit based. So it is just there, and I am
Mm-hmm.
able to experiment with all these tools because if I have
Mm,
a separate membership,
mm,
not this separate membership has access to each tools that, so it takes time, but it's faster with the Confi. So whatever these websites are launched, they are
yeah,
actually having a Confi UI
yeah.
structure kind of like they are
Wrapped,
also
right? Mm,
APIs and everything. So
yes.
it's for me, it's more convenient and advanced.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, I
Perfect.
recommend to learn about it.
Try it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And one would also understand more the logic behind the generation, I guess, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's like imagine, so now we have 3D modeling tool like
Mm-hmm.
Rhino, the Revit. So I think Confi is kind of the AI tool for that. So because you can do everything there. But more advanced cases, if you want to translate something, because like some of my friends are now working on another tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different than just image generation, but you can communicate with the 3D just from your chat. So you can import some
Mm-hmm.
3D objects into your Rhino. So this Config is not able to do it, or I don't know how to do it. But now these programs are, of course, they are selling you a service, right? So
Yeah.
if it is useful for you, it's worth buying it as well.
I just have a couple of questions to ask Ebra before we move on to the public Q&A. So for anyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to put in the chat and I'll read them out in a bit. So thanks, Bosco, for the first questions. For the rest of the audience, do feel free to ask questions there. And actually, you mentioned about your clients just now and how they're from the UK, they're global. Can you tell us how have your clients reached you, approached you, or found you? And if anyone is interested in your services, how should they reach out to you?
So I was lucky enough that people always find me somehow. It was mostly through Instagram, to be honest. Like my Instagram
Mm,
didn't start as a services. It just started
yeah.
as a journey, but somehow it grew. But
Mhm.
and then people wanted to
Good.
work with me. They liked the approach or they liked what they saw and then they were reaching out to me. So if you want to reach out to me, you can email me. It's my
Good.
name and surname, or you can reach out to me on Instagram.
Amazing. Okay, and I have one more question about the Claude and how you were using it for a structural analysis. Very interesting indeed. Putting a client hat on, and I think this is something that I'm asked almost daily, the thing about data security and about how is it safe to put something out on Claude? If the drawing is not confidential, then I think it's okay. If the drawing is, then perhaps that's not best practice. What do you think about that? How can we keep pushing the limits of tools while staying secure with data?
This is, yeah, very tricky part, but
Hmm.
I definitely just the basic thing is to use a free version of any tool. If you're not paying for
Mm,
something, you're paying with your data. like
Yes.
your data is being trained. So
Yes.
if you're dealing with a confidential project, I definitely recommend having a membership. This is like a basic thing. Otherwise, it is trained, it is fed into the system. But
Mm.
other than that, using it locally is more private, I think. Like there is some more advanced thing that I'm not so certain about. But now we are in the office trying to establish our own, like as I said,
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
own data set. So it is encrypted. So it is not
Mm-hmm.
really fed. We are using APIs, but
Understood.
in a different format. So if it's a big establishment, if it's a big company, I recommend integrating your own local
On
system.
premise.
Yeah, feeding your data and having your own customized chat bot
Mm-hmm.
and that can control everything. Digital model that can control everything.
Makes complete sense. Okay, so thank you, people who have been commenting in the chat. I think you have some fans here, Ebra. So thank you, everyone, for the kind words. Okay, thanks, Bosco, for the question. So first of all, he says, thank you, Ebra, for the comprehensive look at the workflow. It's very inspiring to see AI addresses more than aesthetics, including performance, well-being, etc. As we all know, architectural design is a very complicated discipline dealing with many issues and theories. In your opinion, what is something that AI has yet to address? And is there anything that AI struggles to assist? Okay, that's a good question.
Wait, let me try to read it.
Sure.
I mean, if we are talking about architectural practice, it is, I would say, the translation of a spatial, because AI is not, even though we think it's creative, it's not creative. It is trained on a data set, and it doesn't have human consciousness. It doesn't have human. This is like, it gets closer, but it's never a human brain. And I hope it won't also, like, I hope we stay as human and then we have our own creativity. Like, we shouldn't let this part give over. And again, I think people should be very careful. I mean, of course, have fun with it, but be mindful about it and how you're using and integrating these tools. I would say mostly about spatial translation. It is struggling. Now it's mostly on image generation now, and also now we have a analytical part and we have scripting, but still in between it's a gap. How we are communicating space and all of that. It's still a big gap.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to ask a few final questions, and this is the last chance for anyone to ask questions in the chat. Ebra, forward looking for your short-term future, like in, short future and long-term future, what are you expecting for your career advancements? Would you like to share?
I am looking forward to kind of explore more also of architecture because
Mm.
this is like what also it changed my trajectory. I was very into architecture, but now with these
Okay.
tools, I'm able to imagine also in different fields and open up a
Mm.
conversation. From interior design, I wasn't expert onto this, but now I'm able to at least communicate if I have an
Mm-hmm.
idea or with stage designers or
Mm.
with products brands. So all of that, I'm really looking forward to expand, see what is possible and how can I learn more. It really feeds my curiosity and it
Mm-hmm.
keeps me on the hook always and
Yeah.
wants me because these tools are quite also, how to say, tiring in a way because there's always a new update, there's always a new release,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah.
have to be keep up to date. Otherwise, the workflows you're establishing can be outdated in one day. So this is kind of the cons of
Yeah.
it. But if you have the motivation and research, and if you're trying to do this mindful, I
Yeah.
think it is pushing you to
Yeah.
learn, think differently. Like it's always okay, how can I do something different? How can I combine this tool and that tool? It's always this
Mm-hmm.
brain is always working.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet. I'm sure you are also exploring all kinds of new AI tools, but luckily Comfy UI, which is the one you use the most,
Yeah,
is
that's the
always going
best
to be the
playground.
OG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's so that I can immediately test it out.
Smart. So if you have to use one word to describe success, what would that word be for you? And this is a question I ask everyone on the podcast. Oh,
I
would like to
think
know yours.
I think I would say curiosity.
Hmm.
because it's what drives experimentation, and experimentation allows new ideas to emerge. And then I think it's a success because you are exploring in this new field and playground, and it drives you, it keeps you excited to be curious. I think that's how I would respond.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful word. Any other questions in the chat? So, Ebra, would you be traveling to Asia anytime soon? Have you ever been?
I was in Japan and I was in
Okay,
China just for yeah, like just for switching things. But yeah, I
I
love Asia.
see.
I would love to come back again.
If you ever stop by Hong Kong, we must meet.
Yes, yeah, I would love to though.
Yeah, and next time when I visit Vienna,
Yes,
I'm also so thankful of Jasmine to putting us in contact. What a
yeah,
wonderful conversation.
she's super nice. She mentioned you before, but like we missed each other, I think, in Vienna. Hopefully next time we can.
Exactly. Hopefully next time. So thank you so much for your time. This has been so generous of you to spend time with us and also show us your work. It's really amazing. Like I mentioned, I hope you feel very proud about it because it looks amazing. So this will be in recording and it will be uploaded on YouTube and I will be sending you the link once it's done. So
Okay,
we'll take a couple of days only. Thank you
thank you
so
so much
much.
for this beautiful conversation and questions and discuss with you.
Wonderful. Yes, I enjoyed it so much. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for
Thanks,
joining.
everyone. Bye bye.